Okay, so here we're going to look at expressions, equations, and functions. And your goal is to evaluate algebraic expressions and use exponents. So a couple definitions. First, a variable. A variable is just a letter that represents a number. Or other value, and technically it doesn't have to be a letter, it could be anything, but for us, for algebra, we're going to use letters. And an algebraic expression is just an expression that contains variables. And as you watch these videos, I encourage you to write these down. You can download this template and write on it in OneNote or a smart notebook, or you can use a notebook and just write with paper and pencil, but definitely pause the video and write this stuff down. And so how do you evaluate algebraic expression? That's what we're going to talk about in this video. These are all examples of algebraic expressions. And go ahead and pause the video and try to do this. Evaluate the expression when c equals 4. Okay, and then after you've unpaused, when c equals 4, just take the variable out and put in 4. So this becomes 4. Instead of 4c, you write 4 times 4. And 4 times 4 is 16. And you can use your calculator for this, although I encourage you not to. Try to do as much in your head as possible. Try to, if you're going to use your calculator to check, that's a really good thing. Actually, I'm not going to take your calculator away, but think 4 times 4, it's 16, and then enter in 4 times 4, 16, and move on. Here, 8 divided by c would be 8 divided by 4, and that is 2. And then here, 15 plus c would be 15 plus 4, and that is 19. And once again, make sure you are pausing the video to try these on your own. So I'm going to kind of go through them quickly with the assumption that you have already done them. Okay, so then evaluate the given expression when y equals 2. And so now you have this y here. Plug in 2 for each of these and evaluate. So if 6 times y, well, if y is 2, then that means everywhere I see y, I can write 2. And I get 12. Here, everywhere I see y, I can write 2. And I get 4. And then here, everywhere I see y, I can write 2. And I get 6. And then on this last one, everywhere I see y, I can write 2. And so 11 minus 2 is 9. One thing to make sure as you watch these videos is pause them definitely, but then also know that I make mistakes too. We all make mistakes in math. And so it's not about making mistakes. It's good to make mistakes because then you can learn from them. But please let me know if you see something like, well, you wrote that problem down wrong, or you did that number wrong. Let me know so we can make note of it and let everyone know. We don't want people to be confused. Okay, moving on to this word problem here. Do not be overwhelmed, or try not to be overwhelmed with word problems. Although reading is tough, right? And a lot of math is about reading. So let's go through this and see what we can figure out. So it says you are ordering a skateboard and a helmet from an online store. The total weight of the two items can be represented by the expression S plus H. Just kind of mark this stuff up. So this is the weight, is S plus H, where S is the weight of the skateboard. And anytime you have a variable and you know what it means, it's a good idea to write it down. Weight of skateboard is S, and H is the weight of the helmet. So this is a very important idea in math, that we can use a variable to represent something. And then find the total weight. Find the total weight. So what are you looking for? Total weight. If the helmet weighs 1.3 kilograms and the weight of the skateboard is 5.4 kilograms. Okay, so figure out what the question is asking for. The question is asking for the total weight. Well, what is the total weight? The total weight is S plus H. So if S plus H is the total weight, and if I add those together, I know S is 1.3 because that's whoops, I got that backwards. S is 5.4 because that's the weight of the skateboard. And then H is 1.3 because that's the weight of the helmet. And I add those together and you get 6.7 kilograms. Okay, let's take a look at some exponents. So expressions and exponents. One important thing about exponents is you have a base, and I'm going to write this as this. We have a base and then the exponent. And we can call the whole thing the power if we want. So this whole thing would be the power. But base and the exponent. What this means, and this is the example here, this might be a little blurry, I apologize. But so 3 to the fourth means to multiply not 3 times 4, but multiply by 3 4 times. So it's 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. So there's 4 of them. So at this example 4 with these 4 problems, first try these on your own, right? But if I have 1/5 to the first power, that is just 1/5 multiplied once. So 1/5 to the first power is just 1/5. Anything to the first power is just itself. It's not going to change anything because you're really not multiplying by anything. There's just 1/5. If I have 6 squared, then I would have 6 times 6. That means I have 2 6s that I'm multiplying, which is 36. One of the most common mistakes is this, and this is not true. 6 squared is not 12. It's not 6 times 2. So watch out for that. Make sure you don't do that. Let's put some KU colors on there so we know it's a bad thing to do. Do not do 6 times 2 there. And then continue on with the next few. 3 to the fourth would be 3 times 3 times 3 times 3. I don't know how many I said. Which is 81. And then p to the third would be p times p times p. And that's what the third is. So I said, I need to read the directions here. So write the given expression in words and as a product. So let's not worry about the words. Writing it anyway. We said it. So this is 1/5 to the first power, 6 squared or 6 to the second power, 3 to the fourth, and then p cubed or p to the third power. And then this is how you would write it as a product. Okay, now we can put these things together and evaluate these exponents, or evaluate these expressions that have exponents in them. So once again, make sure you pause the video and try these 5, and I'll go through them and you can check your work. So here we have n to the 5th. Well, if n is 3, then that would be 3 to the 5th, which would be 243. And you can use a calculator for that, or you could also leave it as 3 to the 5th. If you have a bigger exponent, it becomes acceptable just to leave it as the exponent. The bigger and bigger the numbers get. D squared when d equals 9/5. This is a good little fraction review. So fractions are difficult, right? But don't shy away from them. Fractions are our friends. You can do it. And so when you multiply fractions, you multiply the top and the bottom. So this is 9/5 times 9/5, and you multiply straight across. Of the fraction stuff, multiplying is the easiest one. Just multiply straight across, and you get 81 over 25. And then x cubed would be 8 cubed, which would be, I have to actually do that one, 512. And then k squared would be 5 squared, or 5 to the second power, and it's not 10. So hopefully you didn't get 10. If you did, write it down, put some KU colors over that. You know it's bad news. But you get 25 instead. And then d cubed, when d is 1/3, would be 1/3 cubed. And that would be 1/3 times 1/3 times 1/3. And if you multiply straight across on top, you get 1 times 1 times 1. Straight across on bottom is 3 times 3 is 9 times 3 is 27. Whoops, can't see that, can you? Let's move that paper up a little bit. There you go. Okay, so we'll stop there with this video. Let me know if you have any questions.